Gee, it sure is boring around here. What should I do? I know! Hey guys, I'm Luca. Let's talk about voice acting in Zelda. So this is one of the most debated topics in the Zelda community, primarily because so many people are torn about how they feel about it. Kind of like that dress that everyone was arguing about a month ago. Why was that a thing? Now, voice acting is not completely non-existent in the franchise. The characters do have sound effects, but most of the exposition and dialogue is done through text. And this is the case even with Hyrule Warriors, which is odd considering that Dynasty Warriors is pretty much all voice acted. Many people feel that voice acting should come to Zelda because it will add a lot more depth to the characters, which is even more important now that Zelda U is supposedly open world. And other people don't want voice acting because they're afraid that it's going to completely ruin the franchise. And honestly, I can't say I blame them, because in Zelda's almost 30-year history, we have gotten two things with full voice acting in them: the CDI games and the 1989 animated series. And, well...
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
My boy.
I'll grab my stuff. How about a kiss?
This is illegal, you know.
That's the last time I'm going fishing.
You must die!
I won!
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, I work for Zelda Universe, and all of us on the team really, genuinely enjoy the animated series and the CDI games. As a matter of fact, we just finished our annual CDI month about a week ago. But here's the thing. We like the CDI and the animated series sort of like how I love watching The Room. Because it's so bad, it's entertaining. And if you're trying to make a AAA game, I'm pretty sure that's not a good thing. Fans have also debated that maybe it would work if Link was just kept silent and everyone else had voice acting similar to Skyrim. But then the problem shifts from Link to the rest of the principal characters because nobody is going to agree on how a character should sound. Literally no one! I mean, I have this idea of Ganondorf with this bass, baritone, gravelly voice that has an insidious tone to it, kind of like a dark version of Markiplier. But I also know that someone on the other side of the earth is going to completely disagree with me. However, all of these discussions appear to leave out a kind of crucial element: the writing. Yeah, having a talented voice cast is great and all, and it can have a great impact on the game, but the writing is super important. It's something that the CDI games and the cartoons kind of failed at. Mix that with terrible animation and awful voice acting, and you get a ridiculed mess, a mob of angry fans, and in the case of the CDI, an entire YouTube subgenre. Somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that happened either. And this isn't something that's exclusive to just Zelda. Writing can make or break a game. Metroid Prime 3 gave everyone except Samus a voice, but it was great because how it was scripted. And then Metroid Other M happened and completely crippled a character that was built up to be such a badass. And can we all just remember for a second that in the original Resident Evil, this was one of the lines?
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
Yeah, I know they changed it in the remake, but still! And there are tons of other examples in this industry, but the point of the matter is, voice acting and writing go hand in hand. And yes, we can talk about both of them separately, but voice acting is incredibly dependent on the script to keep the narrative going and keep it immersive. I bring this up in the wake of reports that Netflix was developing a series of The Legend of Zelda that was described as a kid-friendly version of Game of Thrones. Which honestly, if you're gonna make a Zelda TV show, that's really the only way you could do it. And while Satoru Iwata recently came out and said that the reports were inaccurate, it does bring this topic back out. And so it felt like a good time to talk about it. Because while I do not think Zelda needs voice acting, so long as the writing is good, I'm not gonna complain. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think there should be full voice acting in the future Zelda games? Tell me down below, like this video if you liked it, share it to keep the discussion going, and click on my face if you want to subscribe. Also, if you haven't checked out all the CDI goodness over at Zelda Universe, you should. It's great. This year we showed what would happen if Phillips created Zelda U, we had the king from the CDI games make his own dinner, and lastly, we teamed up with our friends over at Random Encounters to create a CDI musical, which was glorious. You should watch it. And if you want to see even more poor life choices, you can watch my friend and I react to the animated series. We think we just put her into shock. It's amusing, to say the least.